What is going on back at Dave to Confuse? So this has been like kind of like a legend type thing on the internet, and this story came to me from a buddy at work that heard about it, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been on the internet for a lot longer than that, but I didn't understand how serious and crazy it really is until I started to read the stories that people posted about the experiences that they've had with black-eyed children. Now, black-eyed children, they look just like kids. They usually wear a hood or a hat that kind of puts shade over their face to kind of cover their completely black eyes. There's a lot of really crazy stories regarding these kids, and I used to think it was just kind of a legend, but the amount that's there on the internet that people have said they've had experiences with these kids, it makes me want to believe that maybe it's not just a legend. So there's patterns that you see amongst all the stories. One of them is they come to your door and they knock on your door, and there's usually one or two of them, and they'll ask to be invited in. They'll ask to come in, and they'll usually use excuses like, oh, I'm a lost kid, can I use your phone to call my parents, or my little brother's hurt, or he's having an asthma attack, or something, right? They always have an excuse why to be invited into your home. But if you look through the little viewer hole in your door, you will see that they have completely black eyes. And a lot of people have stated in their stories that they stare directly into the hole of the door in order to see if you're there. And if you say nothing, if you choose not to answer, they continue to knock, and they get more aggressive and aggressive with their knocking, banging on the door, pounding on the door, screaming to be let in. There's a lot of stories of people saying to them, no, I'm not letting you in. I don't want to let you into my house. Go somewhere else. And again, they get more aggressive and aggressive. Pound on the door, punch the door, try to rip the door handle off. But they always have to be invited in. Not unlike a vampire or a true vampire that cannot come into your home without being invited. Now, that is almost a little chain effect on this story of the black-eyed kids, that they could be some sort of an undead entity similar to a vampire. The other direction that these stories go in is one person actually did let them into the house. And apparently once they opened the door, the two children ran in, shoved past the person, and ran right into the house as if they knew where they were going. And the person that wrote the story on these kids said he had never ever seen these kids before, but it was almost like they knew his house like they have been living there for years. They go into your kitchen and they pull your drawers out and put your silverware all over the floor. They open your fridge, they rip all your food out and throw it around the room. Basically, they feed on the fear that they give you and that they take from you by going into your home. Now, this person, once these kids started breaking things in his home, he ran out of his house, went to a neighbor to call the police. When he arrived like an hour later with the police, his whole house was trashed. And he said it almost looked like there were claw marks along the walls. He said he had never been that scared in his entire life, and he was an ex-army vet. Which to me, you gotta be pretty brave to be in the military, let alone, work in the military and retire and still be afraid of a bunch of kids. There is backstories to black-eyed children, and they date back like hundreds of years ago, where some of these kids that were kidnapped by the witches in Salem would return to their homes as if they had never left. And sometimes their parents said that they saw that their eyes were completely black. Now, it wasn't a 24/7 thing, but when they thought they were alone, they would almost let their eyes open, like a second set of eyelids, revealing the complete black eyes. Another story that revolves the black-eyed children is that they're actually part demon, but not the type of demon to like possess someone or is like a king in hell or anything like that. They're almost like a lower class, lower entity demon that basically feeds off of fear. There's something that's been created by something malevolent, but you don't 100% know what it is. So people keep saying, if you see black-eyed children come to your door, do not let them in. And if a bunch of kids come to your door demanding to come in, look through the hole in the door and say, let me see your eyes. Open your eyes. Look up and let me see your eyes. And if they're all black, you know, do not let them in. Eventually, they bang on your door a bunch and they go away and they move on to their next target, I guess, or their next story that they want to create. But look it up. There's dozens of stories about black-eyed children and them coming to your door and begging to be let in. Sometimes they're in twos, sometimes there's a single one, but they all have one thing in common. Eyes are completely black. One last thing that the man of the original story noticed about his house after he was trashed is that any crucifix or biblical writing like the Holy Bible or something was missing. That they took that with them when they left. Which for, I'm guessing like demon type purposes, that's very strange. I have to admit that's very strange. But I mean, stranger things have happened, I guess. So I don't know if these stories are true or not. I enjoy reading these urban legends, but this one, for some reason, just kind of gives me this weird... Remember I say I get that weird feeling in my chest, in my stomach, where there's just something a little more about this that maybe people don't see, or it doesn't feel just like a regular story to me. This is one of those times. Now, I know urban legends, most of them have turned out to be true. I did a video about urban legends with the Queen of Horror, and they were true urban legends. This one is a different one. This one's so eerie and freaky and creepy. It really makes you think. It really, really makes you think. So, if you've heard of the black-eyed children, leave in the comments below. Dave the Confused was able to set up the Confused Army in Teespring. And on my channel, if you go to the section that's marked store, you will see that there is now Dave the Confused t-shirt available for you to purchase. Now, if you do get a t-shirt, please send me a photo on my Twitter or Instagram, or tag me in a photo of you wearing the t-shirt. I would love to see the Confused Army repping the Dave the Confused logo. And if you guys like the merch, I will promise there will be more. And I'm working on doing a contest where I can possibly give out some free merch. But you have to keep watching. So, thank you so much for tuning in. This was an awesome video to make. Again, check out the Black-Eyed Children on the interweb. And remember, check out my community posts and my stories for more information about upcoming videos. And don't forget to leave a ghost story in the comments below, and your comment may end up in our next video. Well, this is Dave, still confused. Thank you for tuning in, and at least our dogs aren't werewolves. Peace.